Boy, oh boy, do I got some good news for you. I mean, probably for me, to be fair. You might be interested. That's probably why you clicked on the video. Today, we're going to be talking about one of Vivian's, definitely not using the word best, and that doesn't mean it's bad. I think that in order for me to say something is the best team at this point, I definitely have to have something comparable to Miyabi or something with Astra. I don't know. But point being is that say I'm going to show you guys Vivian and Burnice because it doesn't work, but it does work if you know how to play the character. Full disclaimer, by the way, this might be one of the hardest teams to pilot in the game, not because it's mechanically hard to do or difficult to do, but because the amount of meter management that you have to do actively is a lot. You guys know how I like to manage things. We are going inside of the good old dandy training room. Now, while I'm doing this, please, Zenless devs, because I know you're gonna watch this video, please improve training mode for us. If you could just give us all the enemies, if you could just give us a couple more things in the training mode, that'd be awesome. Please, thank you. All right, so there's something that I want to show y'all so that you're more aware of what I'm going to be explaining throughout the video. After this part, I'm going to go over each one of the teams that I pretty much tested or like worked with, and this won't be something that equals that it doesn't work at all, right? Or rather, the teams are like limited to just these teams. I'll explain everything as the team footage playing out. But right now, what I want to talk about, the first team and the team that I spent the most time working on with Vivian is going to be Vivian, Lighter, and Burnice. I know, super unconventional, right? Vivian is the type of character that pretty much allows you to play both sides of the playing field, right? Play both sides of the field, that being attack or anomaly. And I know that she's going to be mostly for anomaly based teams, but if you understand the mechanics of her kit and what you're looking to do, you can actually get away with a lot. One of the key things that I discovered while playing the character is if you read her kit, which is the skills, you're going to see Noblewoman Waltz. That's a pretty important thing. If you remember the video that I talked about before, I mentioned that Noblewoman Waltz was going to be a move, or rather that she had moves that would lead her into these dodge counter states, which you can see right there. After the fourth attack, she's going to go into the dodge counter or the dodge counter state, which would then take you into the flight mode, so fluttering flock. And then that's how you're going to get your flight feathers and guard feathers. But there's a key thing in here that just doesn't exist. Normally what you would have to do in order to get into her flight and then a feather would be this. You do the move, she's going to go out in here. You can swap out if you want to, and then you see at the top left or top right, she gets a feather. But there is actually something that's really cool. This is a little bit of a animation cancel, I guess. I'm not entirely too sure, but it's really cool. It's not in your kit, and I thought it's pretty cool. In the event you do this 1, 2, 3, all the way up to basic 4, and you press this and swap immediately, she's going to auto go into the fluttering flock state without you having to do anything. And then she's going to go ahead and finish out the move entirely. This is going to allow you to essentially play Vivian on the field up to this point, and in the event an emergency happens, you could potentially get a dodge counter off, get the basic 5 off, and swap out at the same time, letting your active character be on the field doing whatever they want to do. So stuns, or if Burnice is burning, or Yanagi is your driving character, whatever, right? This is important because what you're doing is you're keeping the momentum of the match as much in your control as possible. Now that we've talked about that, I just wanted to show you guys that. I thought it was really cool, and I haven't seen anybody else talk about it, which means your boy is the one that discovered it. Anyway, outside of my ego thingy doing a thing, right? Finishing out the team. The important part of this team is, like I said, meter management. The thing that you want to pay attention to when it comes to Vivian, and I'll go ahead and give everybody any max energy as well. The thing you want to pay attention to with Vivian is going to be whether or not she has these flight feathers, right? The feather system, the stocks. And then you also want to pay attention to everyone else's anomaly. And so a key thing here that you're going to see me do in the upcoming match or upcoming gameplay with this particular team, I'm alternating between burn and corruption. Why? Because if I were to do basically this, let's just go ahead and build up her corruption all the way. You're going to do this and boom, she's going to pop off corruption at some point because it's going to tick. She works off field, so I can literally do that. Now you see corrupted, right? Now I have a blooms, and you see that my blooms are purple. Now I've triggered burn, I get the disorder, and now my blooms are red. You are manipulating the order of her blooms, rather the damage and what's doing what. Whoever your character is that you're doing anomaly stuff that isn't Vivian is the one that you're going to be wanting to trigger your blooms with. On this particular team, you want the bloom damage to almost always be from Burnice. Now, there are going to be a lot of times when you can't control this due to the fact of how the team works, right? It's high action or high impact. There's not going to be a time where you can control everything all at once. Sometimes things are going to happen. And a lot of the time, whenever you do have a blooms for her in particular, It's going to happen when you're not inside of stun. And yes, the stun is going to be pretty important here. There's also going to be something I show you guys in the video that pretty much goes over everything, but the order that you're doing things when it comes to this particular team is you essentially want to burn. So let's go ahead and get the burn off. Get that cancel right there. Boom, that's burn. You want to do burn. You want to do corruption, right? And like I said, there's going to be an order here for sure. And then you want to do burn again before the burn goes away. And so that way you get the disorder. That was a weak disorder because I took too long. I got my blooms. And so now my blooms are happening. Boom. And then boom. And now we triggered it again, another disorder. And then you see that burns take over. There's a reason that you want to do that. And it's literally because of just maximizing the amount of damage that you can do within that time period. And again, adding lighter onto this team. Now you have the stun window. And this is essentially going to be your rotation inside of stun. There's a couple things that I'll tell you guys or show you guys rather that happen outside of the stun though, in order to get to the stun. Everything is calculated. Of course, you want to be able to play a lot more freeform. The way that I was taught how to play this game at a much more optimal level or better level, I guess, is basically that you want to be able to recover fast. If something bad happens or unexpected happens, you need to be able to get back into your flow state as quickly as possible. With that out of the way, that's the gist of Vivian and the teams that I'm going to be going over. Rather, not the teams I'm going to be going over, but that's the gist of how you operate Vivian. Now I'm going to show you guys the other teams that I played around with that happen to be fire focused, or rather Burnice focused. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take you guys through the recordings that I have because it was the easiest way for me to go about that. So I'm going to start off with the free-to-play team. I think that one is probably going to be something that a lot of people are looking forward to, or rather they want to know more about. And you'll see that I was working on a couple things for a little bit now, you know, doing what I could to get the damage out, all that kind of fun stuff. But let me try and find exactly where it is that I go. Maybe I get a higher clear here, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on the clear time here because as much as I can optimize this, there's just a certain time period that I need to get this out for you guys in order for y'all to see what's going on, right? So a big thing here, and let me show you a better clear. If I'm not mistaken, the very first clear that I did was actually my best clear for the wave, the mob, not for not for the fight. The first fight, I was still trying to figure out how this works. This is my very first time playing with Lucy for this team, but you'll see right here, I group them all up with Vivian. I go into Lucy, boom, you see, oh my God, that was so beautiful. Look at how many blooms and disorders I have triggered with one combo. I need you guys to go back and like watch this, bro, because look at what happens here. All right, boom, I do the thing. Boom, Lucy, bam, all those are blooms, and then in one shot, delete it. Just like that, we go straight to the boss. This is the perfect wave clear, in my opinion. I got everybody out of there in a matter of seconds. I didn't waste any time. I got to set up the board, the boars from Lucy. I get the attack buff. That way, the boars are on the field now. The only thing that's missing now is Vivian doesn't have her guard feathers, but because of this boss in particular and understanding what's going on, I can play around that and go ahead and get the feathers out of the way. So now we're on the big guy. All right, I'm not using EX skills too much with Burnice because I want to be able to save her meter for Vivian, right? The whole thing is use EX skill, pop a bloom, use EX skill, pop a bloom. I also want to be careful of what hits I'm taking. And whenever I see a parry opportunity, instead of giving it to Lucy, my goal is to give it to Vivian. Vivian's whole thing is that whenever I messed up right there, but Vivian's whole thing is that when she uses her defensive assist, she gets more feathers. You always want to have feathers, especially when you're playing for the damage, right? Anomaly teams don't really care about stun, so Vivian is helping you with the stun. I know the recommended thing in the game is going to be like, hey, don't build stun or don't build her assist, because it doesn't matter. It absolutely matters depending on the team that you're playing. If you're playing a team that's more free to play like this, you want her to have the assist built up because she's going to be doing some type of days and damage on top of how many times she's doing that. But you still need to be mindful because, like I told you guys in a previous video, the assist points will be getting eaten up depending on who's doing the assist, right? And so now we get out of that, we do this, boom, boom, boom. What I'm doing right there, let me explain that. You might be like, why'd you stop that? So I'm kind of doing manual chain attacks, but not really. Maybe it is a manual chain attack. I'm not entirely too sure what I would call this here, but my goal for this particular run is to basically get as many chain attacks with Vivian as possible, because when Vivian does chain attacks, you're going to see it here in just a moment. Vivian does chain attacks, I get feathers. Boom, that's 2 feathers right there. So I go right back out into Lucy, boom, do it again. I messed up on the rotation right there because of the order, but now we have 4 feathers on Vivian. So now what I get to do is come out here with boom, boom, a bloom, boom, boom, a bloom. Go right back into Vivian, do the EX skill, and then reset it again, boom, boom, a bloom, right? So I get a good amount of damage with this free-to-play team during my stun window that I have available to me at the time. And now I'm just playing the clock at this point, right? I'm just trying to keep everything going, build up what I can, and do as much damage as possible, depending on what's going on, right? And if I'm not mistaken, I don't even think this is my fastest clear. I think my fastest clear might be the one like after this or something like that, because I see there's still 3 minutes left on the clip that I recorded right here. But playing it and then coming back to commentate over it was the easiest way for me to give it to you guys. There's no way I'm gonna be able to play this and talk at the same time and go from there. 2 minutes, yeah, I definitely cleared faster than that. You see me reset it right here. Like, let me just go check. Yeah, this should be a delete. This guy should get deleted right here. Everyone has their ults. He's outside of stun. I'm gonna pop all these blooms. We're coming in with max feathers. Yep, disorder, a bloom, and then right there, GG's. And then we got 147, right? I think the fastest that I got with this particular team might have been like 137, 136, something like that. But you guys can see the gist of how you're gonna be playing this free-to-play team. A lot of what you're doing, like I said, is just pure meter management. I understand that Lucy is gonna be a character that a lot of players gravitate towards for that whole free-to-play aspect, the same way that I value Nicole. See a lot of free-to-play players valuing Lucy, especially when it comes to the anomaly-based teams. And to be fair, you could do the same thing with Piper, right? Piper, Burnice, Lucy is probably the team that a lot of people play. And now you have Vivian. This also would work with, instead of Burnice, you could do Piper, Lucy, and Vivian. But that's something that I'll talk about whenever we go over the physical units in the game with Jane and Piper. But that's number one. Number two, I want to show you the same thing, but now I want to show it to you guys with Astra. You know, y'all know how I feel about the Astra Nicole, the double ether, but in this particular case, I think it's okay. We also saw this happening in the live stream with Astra, Nicole, and Vivian. So I feel like, or not Nicole, Burnice and Vivian. So I think it's something that works. Boom. Oh my, yo, listen to me. Beautiful wave clear. Beautiful wave clear right here. Look at this. Group them all up with Vivian. Boom, 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 bang, bang. Delete it. I love seeing all the numbers and all the letters pop up just like that. We come back out with Vivian. We're doing our thing here. I'm trying to stay away from this guy's hits because he hits really hard. I'm using EX skills here because I have feathers already. We came into the game with feathers. And then I also have the iframes whenever I'm using my EX skill. You see that I bring Vivian out. Vivian's boom, boom, boom. She's doing her stuff, right? Exactly what I want to happen on the field. I'm commentating a little fast. Let me pause it here for you guys. The reason I'm commentating fast because I think commentating is kind of cool. I don't know if I like it or not. Like it just feels a little cool. I'm not gonna lie to you. Brings back some fighting game stuff. But two, outside of the FGC thing, the reason I'm doing it so fast is just because I'm trying to keep up with the speed of the game. It's a little easier for me to slow it down, rewind, like. But if I do that, right? You guys let me know. If I keep rewinding and slowing it down, you really liked the previous video that I did where I was showing you guys how to get better with the deadly assault runs by showing one of the viewers how to get better, right? The same thing that I'm doing here. These are my own runs, and I'm literally psychoanalyzing or like post-analyzing how I could do things better, or rather what I'm doing first, so that you guys are more aware of what's going on instead of just letting it play through and then coming back and doing that, because then the video will be an hour long and I don't think anybody wants to watch that. Outside of that though, you can see a lot of what I'm doing is very similar to what I was doing. Oh, I guess I can't go back with the mouse pad there. You can see a lot of what I'm doing in this particular match with Astra is the same thing that I was doing with Lucy. The main difference though is that Astra really doesn't touch the field, right? So I don't have to manually do anything. The positive to this is that now I don't have to worry about my defensive assist with Vivian. If you notice from the beginning of me fighting this guy, the robot guy, or the punchy boy, I pretty much always have feathers. Why? Because with Astra on the team, I'm able to come out with these quick assists, boom, and all you have to do is tap it one time, tap the basic attack one time, she immediately goes into the noble state. And because I'm keeping everyone on the field, one of the cool things about Vivian is that not only does the flight state put her in a fully invulnerable state, she cannot be touched at all in the flight state. She can't get hit, doesn't matter what's going on, which is a very good way to just dodge insta-kill moves. Literally just turn on Vivian, go into flight state, and then just wait it out, right? You only have like 5 seconds, but those 5 seconds might be all you need to just dodge the insta-kill move. And then two, because Vivian is on the field for so long and I'm swapping into Burnice, when I swap out, when I press the button again, I have to go into Astra because no one else is on the field. If everyone's on the field, it can't swap, right? It'll cycle through nothing. So you have to figure out what's going on there with your order. But oh, that's beautiful, bro. And impaired, good damage, corruption, 2 disorders, and the bloom. I love that right there. I love that for me. And then oh yeah. So you see, come back out on the field. I use my EX meter finally, and now we have ult. I pop ult right here. And so the same thing that I explained to you guys in the training room is pretty much what I'm trying to get here now, right? We got the burns, boom, boom. I got my burns off. I go into my in the Vivian here. I use ult. Now I shouldn't have used ult this early, but thankfully Vivian's whole thing is that she can trigger it off field. I still would have rather, like, if I go back and look at that a little bit, I'm pretty sure I still would have rathered just take away like a little bit of a chip, right? Instead of popping ult right here, let me see if I can pause it. Yeah, instead of popping ult right here, we come out. This is about almost full, right? Astra is gonna hit this right here. Yeah. See, if I would have allowed Vivian to come out, do what she needs to do, because the enemy's not stunned, I really don't have to rush at this point in time. I could have done basic string 1 through 4, gone into Noble Woman, crashed down without swapping out, and then pop my ult. What this would have done was this would have overrode the burn of blooms that are already happening. This would have then given me the corruption plus the disorder that's going to happen, because he's still burned. You can see it up here in the top right. And then I would have been able to completely, or almost completely, fill up the entire bar, because her ultimate fills up almost the entire bar. And I'm not even running an anomaly mastery top anomaly mastery 6. This Vivian's running attack percent 6. If I ran anomaly mastery 6, I do believe that the ult would just completely fill it up in one hit. Vivian's gonna do her thing right here. Boom. Disorder, good disorder. There's another bloom, and you see now, right, like what I told you guys, right, my blooms are not red, they're purple. Why? Because I did not override the burn or the corruption with burn. I'm out of my order now. Thankfully, he's gonna die, but I'm out of order. And so now you see, instead of doing like the 200s and 300 something to blooms, I'm doing 181, which is still pretty good given, you know, the amount of damage, or rather the numbers that are consistently popping up all the time, and how much we're shaving off on the enemy despite not being in stun. We pop the stun right there. We go straight to Astra, and then we're gonna finish up the job right here. There's my burn, and then I go into Vivian here. I'm trying to pop corruption before it happens, but it is what it is. We get that final 289 of bloom burned, and then 1:13 with this particular team. If I clean this up, I'm real positive I'd be able to you know, under 60 seconds this. And I think just for a little bit, it's really good that I'm able to, or even if it's yourself, right, it's a better thing for this team to be within this like minute to a minute and a half range, because it gives you room for error. It gives you room to learn and optimize what's going on. There's probably some stats that I could improve on. I saw one of my comments mention that they had a pre-built Vivian ready to go, and their anomaly proficiency was at 600 something. Mine is at 447. That's a crazy thing, right? There's definitely room to improve on the team, which means it only goes up from here, you know, and you always want to look forward to what you can do. I can always optimize things. The final team that I want to show you guys is going to be the one that I started the actual video with. So let me see if, is it this one here? It might be this one. Just want to make sure before I do anything here. Yeah, I think it's this one, the final team. So same game plan, right, is me trying to get, well, I guess I didn't explain that first. So it's a little different. This team operates the same but differently depending on if you're playing in Shiyu Tower or Deadly Assault. And I guess it's probably better if I explain it through Deadly Assault first, because Deadly Assault is the one that takes the longest amount of time. So let me explain it through Deadly Assault first real quick, okay? We're loading up with the same thing that we would naturally come in with, right? Let's see if I can, that's such a cool like finisher screen, a wipeout screen right there. So awesome. But all right, so if I'm not mistaken, this should be the clear that I'm looking for here. Let's pretty much run through. I'm gonna run you play by play. So it's gonna look choppy. I don't mean it to be, but you need to understand what's going on first, like the whole rotation, because this is the most calculated. And this is what I was talking about when I said that the team operates, and you have to, like, it's one of the more difficult teams to pilot, not because of any execution barrier, but because of the meter management that goes into what you're doing and how much you have to pay attention to it. You have to start off this way. From what I've gathered, maybe somebody else can optimize this to get a much higher score. Not entirely too sure, but Lighter needs to be able to get his morale almost immediately. And there's some key things in this particular run that have to happen. Otherwise, it bricks the entire thing, or at least it bricks your opener. What's an opener? An opener is how you start the game, the round, the fight, whatever, right? Me versus Pompey. This is the opener that I'm choosing to do. How do I start this and what do I do? Lighter is going to go for an EX skill because we have the meter for it. We're only going to do the EX one. We don't have enough for two. And I immediately, and I mean immediately, need to switch into Burnice and burn all of her EX meter so that I can get morale as quickly as possible, because Lighter's morale is built up from other people or himself using energy on the team. So you see me do EX, and by the way, EX goes pretty far. I got it pretty close. I don't need to get this close at all. Let me see if I can point you out to where it is, to be fair. Around here, I can EX skill and it'll hit. And so Lighter's thing also has one of the cool things. This is literally some fighting game stuff. The further away you are, so max distance uppercut, he does more. And then I come out with Burnice, I burn it. You have to parry back into Lighter. Lighter needs to get off the field. This is why you have to do it immediately. Lighter needs to come out, uppercut, Burnice needs to come out, or Burnice needs to come out and do her EX skill. And then you need to be able to parry with Lighter, which means he cannot be on the field. Otherwise, Vivian comes in. Pompey is gonna do his motorcycle thing because he's revving up, he's powering himself up. He's always gonna do this. You dodge it because you want the extra points. You need to do 2 dodges with Lighter, right? Don't parry. You have to do 2 dodges with Lighter while burning out morale as much as possible. Then you use the 3rd parry to go into Vivian. 1, because feathers. 2, because she needs the energy. 3, because you need to build up some type of ether anomaly before you get this stun. You can also see that my burn, right? That burn is tick, 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 ticking. I'm building up burn incredibly fast right now. So we get the parry off. We let her come out, and you have to parry that final hit. He's going to swing his motorcycle. You have to parry that final hit with Lighter. I am now out of assist points. Remember what I told you guys in one of my previous videos? When you're out of assist points, your entire game plan changes. And so this particular Deadly Assault, like the Pompey, you do get points for doing perfect dodges. But in the event of me playing on a timer, the timer is my burn at this point, right? The burn that's about to happen is my timer. Me playing on a timer means that I cannot waste time. So I need to find a way to stun him faster than that burn runs out. And this took me like an hour and a half to like really lock into play and figure out what I was doing wrong and how to get this burn timer on a consistent. Every single time I play it, I'm gonna get this burn and I'm gonna get the stun, right? Lighter comes in, boom. We get the bloom and we get the burn. Countdown has started. You guys can see it right up here. I'm already about 30% done with the burn timer, right? And about 81%, but I have enough at this point to go ahead and get the stun. Again, I've been, doing it. There's another layer to this though. You see Burnice, Vivian has EX meter. Let me see if I can show you the anomaly from Ether. And Ether, remember what I told you? Well, I didn't tell you that part. You need to pop Ether anomaly corruption right after, as soon as the chain attack happens, he needs to get corrupted. So I'm going to explain that part too. He's at 92. I come out with Vivian. I switch tech or quick swap, whichever term you're familiar with. And I immediately go for EX skill. I burn off her meter. So I'm going to get these fights. And then because morale is here, I'm going to quick assist back in a Lighter and we're going to get the stun off. Boom, wham. All right. And so now you see it right up here. My burn, about 12% left on the burn. Corruption, because we did the EX skill, just about ready to pop. And now we're going to get that chain attack and that little flare right there. I usually wait a little bit, but I knew it was going to pop right here. That's why I didn't wait. There's a flare that happened. This right here. This is how you know when you got a particular anomaly during the chain attack stun, so you don't have to guess it. Burn is a big bright burn or something like that. Freeze, you can literally see them being frozen. Assault is that big orangey flash, looks like a flashlight's being pointed in your eye. That's how you know that. And then corruption, big old purple flash of star, right? Corruption happens, we go right into Burnice, boom. And now we're gonna do, there's a couple different methods that you can do for Burnice. The thing is, you need to pay attention to what's going on. I'm at 2,700, about 2,800. I know I'm gonna get the ultimate because I'm gonna pop anomaly. Anomaly's gonna give me like a free 200 or 300 points, something like that. So I'm gonna go for this right here. I get the burn, right? I hold it for a little bit. We get burn, you see it goes all the way white. I get a bloom, right? This is gonna trigger, right? I'm gonna set the blooms from Ether. I'm gonna override this bloom with burn now, which is very important. That's what I was telling you guys in training mode. And you can see the burn of bloom just barely popping up back here in the back. Boom, 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 boom. Now we get a bloom disorder. Okay. She's still building ether. And now I held it a little longer, right? I did the double tap. So now what needs to happen? The order is very important. And I'm hoping that I did it right. Burnice uses ultimate because she's going to be able to build up all of her burn. I immediately use the quick assist from Burnice and I go into Vivian. I don't let the hit connect. I go straight for the ult so that Vivian can pop corruption. I need corruption, and we get it here. I need corruption to pop before burn so that I get burn of blooms. I'm going to override corruption again, right? I'm playing off of the ICD from the disorders and a couple other things. So anomaly is going to pop here. Wham, that's my corrupted and my disorder. And now I'm working for the burn. Boom, we get it just like that. And look at that, beautiful. Trigger the final of blooms from ether. We override it and we still have about 10% left for the stun meter, but I don't have any more of the feathers. So that is a little unfortunate. So right now I'm literally just playing off of 1 meter from Burnice. Noticing that, I stop and I let it go, right? I do the hold attack. I go right in the lighter, and now we just repeat the process. The difference though, is that Pompey might start doing things differently. From this point, Pompey could decide to do the motorcycle. He could spin the wind, right? He could start that. If you allow him to do that, he'll do the whole spin move thing. He could do the leap. He could start doing his stab attacks. This is where things change. And now you're still following the same game plan. You see that I'm still pretty much following the same game plan. We're trying to, but I'm also trying to adapt to whatever Pompey is doing. We get that stun off and the same thing happens. Boom, you see the big big purple flash. I got my corruption, and this was the best possible reset or override that I could have gotten right there. The best possible override, man. We get the corruption right here. Burnice comes out and the burn is ready to go. Bam. We come out, press the tap one time. Oh yeah, beautiful. 600k disorder, double a bloom, back to back. And now all we have to do is burn it out. We come out into Vivian. Vivian's gonna do her EX skill. Here I messed up though, right? Remember what I told you? I guess I probably didn't. I'm talking so fast at this point, but I messed up right here. I should have kept my meter. So Vivian actually does not have guard feathers yet. She has flight feathers. I need Vivian to come crashing down first in order for me to get the feathers, the guard feathers, so that the blooms can happen. So you see right here, I wasted 2 EX skills. So that's two skills worth of meter. But you see, I tried to recover it. We got a little bit, we let it go from there. I'm gonna hold on to Burnice's ultimate because I know that I can get the stun again very quickly based off what we were just doing before. And now it's pretty much just repeating the process over and over and going from there, right? Same thing here, right? It's really just that simple. I'm not even gonna hold you, but I'm still playing on the timer. Thankfully, the burn happens and I get my ultimate just in time. I come crashing down and we get that stun almost immediately. I have a really high amount of burn. Corruption just happened. We're gonna do it again. And she's gonna build it all the way back up. Now this part is gonna be a little odd. I think I am actually out of order on this because corruption happens and then burn happens right after that, right? Yeah, so, or before that. So it was unfortunately just, I wasn't paying attention to how much meter I had. I should have held it with Burnice a little bit longer and then did it. You see right there, I was still wasting feathers, but you're understanding the gist of what it is that I'm talking about. And the final score here is gonna be about 28,000. Even me coming back to look at the 2 or 3 mistakes that I just called out, those mistakes, cleaning those up would have given me at least 35k, right? So understanding how much more I can get better at what I'm doing when I can do these things, not getting hit like that, this significantly increases my chances of pulling in a higher score so that I'm ready to go and I'm doing what I want. Now, the key thing here, which I'll let this play out for you guys while you guys are watching that, but the gist of what I'm doing, why is it that I'm so focused on this? Who's playing this team? Why would this team matter? At the end of the day, it's about having fun. My whole thing is trying to figure out, that wasn't even my best run. That's crazy. That's funny though. My whole thing is trying to figure out what teams can I play that I'm gonna have the most fun with, what looks cool, and what feels good playing the team. That's all I'm doing. If I can make teams work in that faction or that function and still pull in high clear results, I'm chilling. I don't have any complaints. I like Vivian as a character. Before we end this off, I do want to show you guys this in Shiyu because like I said, It's a little different when you play it in Shiyu. The same game plan exists, but the difference is gonna be, and we're pretty much done at this point because he's gonna spin and waste the timer. No big deal. I think there was like one thing, if I would have had if I would have shot off EX skill right there, we would have gotten like 29k. Not a big deal though. But she used the last one here. She used the last one right here. Also, guys, if you guys were hearing like other audio, I apologize. While recording this, I was watching my boy Kizzy K play City of the Wolves. And I just realized, I was like, is somebody else talking? And I think it might be in the recording, but if it's not, then thankful. If it is, that's my bad. Same game plan, right? That I showed you guys before. I'm trying to group them all up. I missed the group right here. Very unfortunate. So now I have to recover or try to recover it by swinging them all around with Burnice. This is super sloppy. I don't like how this happened at all, but it was still a pretty quick clear and we were able to get right into the action. I'm still using Burnice to get some parries off because Glider doesn't need to get all the parries, to be fair. He has the dodge attacks. He has the uppercuts. We're good on that. I just need Burnice to keep up her feathers at this point because unlike the Pompey fight, I'm able to get stuns a little faster when fighting this guy and probably a little bit more frequent. But my goal is to pretty much just delete him. I hear Kizzy in the background too. My goal is to pretty much try and one-shot the punchy guy, right? As like fast as possible. I'm trying to pretty much clear and delete as much HP. Now right here, what happens? I burned my corruption way too early. There was no way I could control that at that time without me going back and looking at like, oh, how could I do that better? And that's something that I would encourage you guys to do, right? Now that you know the game plan, how is it that you do it better? What's good about this part though, is that you saw that I got corruption. Beautiful. You guys saw that corruption popped during, if I'm not mistaken, Vivian's ult from here. We get Burnice's ult right here. We're gonna get Vivian coming out, immediate ult, right? As soon as I get quick assist going to the ult, because of the way the ult works, boom, there's my corruption and my disorder. We go right into Burnice, and then Burnice is gonna get 2-2 for the blooms on corruption or ether. And then right after that, we pop a disorder, we get double a bloom for the burns. And now I need to go right back into Vivian. Hopefully I did it. I did not, I'm burning meter. I'm wasting my meter. Okay, now we have it, we save it, she has the stacks. And we go into to lighter here, and we're pretty much trying to get these stun as quickly as possible, which is very possible. We get a burn off right there. Now we're playing off ether this time instead of the burn, but I think burn is gonna happen anyway. Yeah, burn happened right there. We go right back into Vivian, and here we're gonna delete them. We have feathers we can play around with. We have two. I'm gonna quick swap right back into Vivian. She's gonna get her feathers off. I should have held it again, but I didn't. And again, that's what I'm talking about, right? Like I can always come back and optimize and improve what I'm doing, which I love that about the game. Right there, had I noticed, and it might not even shaved off like that much of a timer, but it's still the fact that like I myself can clean up my gameplay so that I perform significantly better. And that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm trying to show you guys, right? So hopefully this video came off as something that you guys were able to take away from. I didn't want to show you like just the gameplay and then like nothing else. I've learned, and you guys are like, a lot of y'all are loving it. I'm glad you guys are loving it. I'm more than happy to keep doing these. Y'all are loving when I break down runs. And I think that's something that I've been trying to kind of push out there for a little bit now. I just never really had the, I don't want to say motivation, but like, I didn't feel like it was going to be received well, but it seems to be doing pretty well. Oh, let me show you guys before we actually end off here. I'll show you the builds. I know that's something that a lot of people would like to see. So the final part of this video will be the builds. Okay, so first up is going to be Vivian. We're at 447 AP and then 155 AM. Of course, your skill is going to be pretty much maxed out on this account for the most part. I could max out the ult, and again, like I told you guys, right, I could always improve on stats, and that might improve my my clear times as well, or my scores. But 4-piece Phaethon, pretty much made for her, right? Nothing too crazy on the substats, you know, AP here, AP here, AP here. What is this? AP on the crit 4, or my bad, not crit 4, disc 4 with Freedom Blues. And then we have pin ratio. You can run pin. We did just have the scuttle, the scuffle, if you will. All right, the mishap. That's on me, guys. I'm gonna hold that. I'm not running fire. I wouldn't want to run fire anyway. Even if I did do the whole like disc thing that I was talking about with disc 5, I wouldn't run fire. I would still run pin because lighter gives all of the fire damage in the world to fire characters. So if you're running a lighter on any team, there's zero reason to have lighter and then the respective damage disc on whatever DPS character you're running, because he just gives it to him, right? So you don't need it. But I'm running pin ratio here. I could run ether if I wanted to, but I feel like pin ratio serves me a lot better because pin ratio is affecting both the driving character that I'm doing damage with and the Vivian gameplay that I'm showing you guys here. And then my final piece is the attack percent. You could replace this for the anomaly mastery. What's going to happen if you replace it with anomaly mastery is it's going to build up ether faster. So now the rotations and combos that I taught you guys, you're going to have to readjust on your own in order to learn who's doing what and rather like how fast or how quickly she's popping anomalies. And then you need to adjust to that because not everybody is able to keep up with her. Thankfully, this team in particular with Burnice, the core of Vivian and Burnice can keep up with each other very well, but you need to alternate who's on the field and who's doing what. Because with anomaly mastery, Vivian actually builds up ether off field and on field incredibly fast. After that, we have Lucy, which I think Lucy is pretty standard. I honestly did not touch Lucy at all for the most part. Attack is 3100. She's on the swing jazz set with hers, and then a 2-piece hormone. Attack percent, attack percent, attack percent. Like, I'm sure I could have made this energy regen, but you guys saw that she always had energy due to the way that I played Lucy. So I didn't really have to worry about energy for the most part. And you know, if I didn't want to run triple attack, I guess maybe I would replace something with crit. I don't know. It is what it is. I think Astra is also pretty standard. There's no reason to even think about Astra, to be fair. Yeah, 4-piece Astral, swing jazz, attack, energy regen, you know, things like that. And then her sig, not a big deal. And then Burnice, I think Burnice is the same way too. Attack is 2800, AP is 340, and then energy regen is 249. I think she's running an ER6 as well. Yeah, ER6 pin ratio as well because she doesn't need fire. And then the AP on the 4-piece chaos jazz with her W engine. The cool also I did test it, but I just didn't record the gameplay for this particular video. You can run Vivian, where's she at? You can run baby girl with Weeping Gemini. If you wanted to use Weeping, you could use Weeping Gemini, and it would, you know, obviously try and get a 5 because it's free to craft. You'll get all of the AP that you're looking for pretty much the same way because her W engine gives her like a free 120 AP or something like that. Yeah, it's like a free 120 AP. Weeping Gemini also gives you a 4 ton of AP as well. So you're in the clear if you do that, but you need to play to your W engine's advantage. So you see right here, whenever something triggers an anomaly or an attribute anomaly, you're gonna get this buff. That's literally how you play Vivian. So you don't have to think too much on it. You just need to stack it. Once you stack it those 4 times and it's there, you got it, you're good to go. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And it says it expires whenever the target recovers from stun or is defeated. That doesn't matter because during stun, you're gonna build up the anomaly, the anomalies happening anyway, the attribute anomalies. And then right after stun, because of the way it works, you're gonna trigger a bloom disorder. You're gonna get them immediately. So Weeping Gemini is absolutely a perfect free-to-play weapon for this character. I think they designed Vivian very well. Very good character, very good character design all the way from the ground up. I like this character. Maybe like 1 or 2 things that I would change, but that's about it. Final character that we talk about is Lighter, which Lighter, same thing, standard, right? Max impact, he has his W engine. If you're running Colada, like on my personal account, I actually don't have Blazing Laurel. I have Hellfire Gears and I'm using Hellfire Gears. You can pretty much run the same thing and get the same results. Main difference though between that is you're not going to get this fire damage and ice damage boost for the crit damage, but it is what it is, right? I'm playing this with an anomaly team. They don't really care about the crit damage, so it's fine. We're running him on a 4-piece Astral because I want to be able to get the quick assist boost or the attack boost from quick assist and the damage boost, and then we're going to give him the 4-piece shock star. Now, if you want, we tested this too, if you want an easier time running the team that I showed you guys, Lighter, Burnice, and Vivian, if you want an easier time doing that, you can actually run 4-piece shock star. What this is going to do is increase your days done by like the basic attacks, the dodge counters, all that kind of stuff. So you're going to build days a lot faster. So if you don't want to play the game of having to like dodge, parry, right? Like all that kind of stuff and be exact to the T, at least for the opener, you can run 4-piece shock star. It's still going to be the same concept, but now it's a lot easier because you're building up days that much faster. That's going to be it for me today, guys. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on today's video. Like I said, I'm trying this whole team thing. I don't think every video that I do is going to be this long, but this is my first time doing this for a CE server, and I wanted to do it in a way where I'm not scripting it because you kind of can't commentate script, or you can't script commentating, but I wanted to be able to show you guys exactly what was going on, what's in my head when I'm thinking about this stuff, how I'm doing it, and you know, seeing all the results. You guys can even see in the video I still left it in there, some of the mess ups. If I messed it up or if I didn't like the run, I restarted, things like that. It's all about learning at the end of the day, right? Like, and Vivian is the type of character, especially coming into it from the anomaly perspective. If you care about playing this character, you have to learn. Yeah, she's simple and you don't have to, like, I don't have to do anything. You don't have to master execution or be some crazy cracked out player. You need to understand how her kit operates though. That's one of the things that I paid attention to over the course of CE server videos being released so far, is that there are some creators who understand that. And so they're trying to get you guys to understand, like, hey, there's a lot of meter management. Like, there's a lot you need to pay attention to with this character. And then there are other creators who are just like, she's easy. You know, she's basically Ether Burnice. And it's like, no, she's actually not Ether Burnice. Like, you cannot keep saying that, because Burnice literally tap, you're done, right? Until you play her on a different team like this, Burnice is tap, you're done, get off the field. Vivian isn't tap, you're done. Vivian has a lot more to her kit. And even though the kit is, that's why I say it's very well done design wise. It's easy to get into, very simple, low entry floor, and it quickly ramps up to, like, you got to learn this, you got to learn this, you should understand this. The more you understand, the stronger you become. The more you understand about the character in the game and its mechanics, i.e. anomaly, the better you play her, the better you can build her, the more things you can tinker around with. If I had to give somebody, like, hey, I play Burnice, should I pull Vivian? Absolutely. If you play Burnice, or yeah. If you play Burnice, you should get Vivian. If you want to take anomaly to the next level, you should play Vivian. And honestly, I think I might have a hot take for you guys in the next video, because I no longer like Vivian and Miyabi, but I'm gonna save that for next time. Smell you later.